Hello, my friends. How are you? I have a new mic for you guys. It's plugged in and I'm hoping that it is good and that you guys can hear me well. I'm gonna adjust my light a little bit. It's not like straight off on my face, which is what these lights tend to do. I love these lights, but also like they are straight up in your face, aren't they? Hi. Hello. I'm gonna share this. I think it's important. Say hi. Hi, Angela. How are you? How are you? Important live. My daughter seems to be happily asleep, which is a hard thing to come by these days. So that's why I'm on right now. Here live. So initially I had this idea to teach a class tonight on Human Design Authority, which I have a YouTube video on this as well, so you're welcome to that. And then given the things that have happened in real time in the US, I thought this is a really good opportunity to talk about the implications of knowing how we make decisions. And not just like what an authority is, but why it's so significant. So authority, as we use the term in human design, refers to how you are uniquely designed to make a decision, how you come to your truth. And what's significant about this is that everybody is designed to come to a truth differently, according to their type and their design. It's not the same for everybody. We don't all make decisions the same way. We don't all respond to external information the same way. And so this is why some people get presented with information. The 23andMe is a really good example. I just shared a link on my profile about how 23andMe, the company, pretty much sold everybody's information to pharmaceutical industry for the purpose of using your DNA to make drugs. Okay? 23andMe has been around for a long time. These DNA testing things where you take a sample, you send it to them, they tell you about your genealogy, has been around for a while. And the moment that this came around, I was like, where am I sending my DNA? Who's gonna have my DNA? What the fuck do they do with that DNA as soon as they receive it? Unbeknownst to me, at that time I wasn't really living the experiment, so I didn't really understand about my own decision making. But unbeknownst to me, number one, I have a splenic authority, which means that I make instinctual decisions on the spot very quickly. I get a pulse for something, which is why I tend to be right on. When I share suspicion with you guys, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying it for my health. I'm not saying it for any other reason other than I have a pulse on it, and my pulse is rarely inaccurate. But the other thing I am is a one-line profile, which is an investigator. And that makes me want to dig into information, and I don't commit to something easily unless I fully understand what's going on inside of the thing, which is why I never did the ancestry thing. So I shared this link, and then some people are going to be really upset when they find this out, and they're like, how did I get duped? And the same thing is going to happen when the truth comes out about these jabs and what the pharmaceuticals did in cahoots with our government. The same thing is going to happen. How did I get duped? The same conversation is going to happen. 23andMe has been around for 10 years. Okay? This jab just happened like yesterday. Give it 10 years. We're going to be having the same conversation. I promise you. I promise you. Okay? And people are going to be wondering how they got duped. And so this is where authority really fucking matters. This is where it matters. Because if you understand this, how you are uniquely designed to make decisions, if you understand how you uniquely pay attention to information and how you get to your truth, then these things won't keep happening to you. They won't keep happening to you because you'll know this is how I make decisions. This is how I sense the world. This is how I process information. Okay? So, authority is how you are uniquely designed to come to truth. Okay? How you feel the truth, how you move with the truth. I'm going to give you 2 examples. This is unique, right? This is not according to aura type. It's not like every projector has this type of authority, every manifestor. That's not how this works. You can have projectors with a bunch of different authorities, manifestors with a bunch of different authorities. So it's not like that. But I just want to give you an example so that you understand how very different this can be for 2 people. On one end, you have the reflector, who's a lunar being, who is guided entirely by the sequence of the moon, has no inner authority. So the reflector takes a long time to make decisions in its awakened state. In the awakened state of the reflector, they need time. They need a month. They need 28 days to process information, to move it through their openness, because they're so open. They're amplifying everybody else and everything else that's happening in their environment. They need time to make a decision. And then after the course of a while, of those 28 days, they get to a place where they feel certainty. They get to a place where they feel a goodness about the thing that they're trying to do. Okay? That's reflector. All reflectors have lunar authority, by the way. That's the exception to the rule. The reflector is always lunar authority. External authority, not internal. Then you have a splenic projector, like me, is the total opposite of the lunar reflector. I make instinctual decisions on the spot. This is how, when I was very young, I would meet someone and I would say, I don't like them. And here's story time. And I'm not gonna throw this family member under the bus because the extended family still follows me online. I don't want to start drama. There was a family member that I met when I was very young. And I was 5 when this person was introduced to me, and I remember saying, I don't like this person's bad news. And they were like, you just met this person, what are you talking about? This would be a theme for the rest of my life. And sure enough, when I got older, this said individual attempted to molest me a couple of times, not just once. And I knew that. I knew it at 5, and I knew it with no prior exposure to this person at all. I knew something like this was going to happen. And then it started happening when I was about 10. So it was another 5 years before it actually came into fruition. But I knew energetically something bad this way comes. That is my authority. Now, the thing about the splenic authority is it's very quiet and it's a very soft pulse and it doesn't repeat itself. So it's really important that people who have splenic authority cultivate enough inner stillness to listen to what's happening and to know when the authority is speaking on their behalf. The spleen center in human design is it's intuitive, it's instinctual, it's associated with intuition in a unique way. So people who have this authority are also quite intuitive. They have very strong intuitive posts by and large. Those are 2 very different ways of making decisions. The way the reflector is going to experience information and decide how to move is super different than a splenic projector. Very different, okay? Or a splenic authority in general. So when we were having this conversation in the 23andMe link underneath, and one of my friends said, well, like, how, I'm so disappointed in this world. You know, I'm so disappointed. All these things keep happening. And I said, the only way we're going to move out of disappointment is if we collectively decide to wake up and understand how we process information, how we are uniquely primed to process information and make decisions so this stuff stops happening. So it stops happening to people en masse. This is the process of becoming sovereign. This is the process of claiming sovereignty, is understanding who you are profoundly to the point where you get how you make decisions. You get how you process information. You get what your instincts feel like. So no one can tell you anything and you just go, okay, no. I don't care who this information is coming from. I don't care if Jesus Christ himself showed up tomorrow and started professing his understanding. You need to understand how to process information and make decisions, okay? Any righteous spiritual leader will tell you not to listen to them, not to be guided solely by what they say, but to understand what feels true to you, what is truth to you, what resonates in your being as truth. The Buddha said it. I study Buddhism a lot. That's my primary spiritual study. Don't listen to me. Go out there and experience reality, and you practice these tenets, and you come to a place of understanding from your own experience. That's why I shared a post, I think a week ago, that said, in 2022, we're no longer believing in ourselves. We are studying ourselves. Because what happens when you are living from a place of belief with little understanding of who you are is you can often operate from a place of delusion. Because what are you believing in? If you don't know yourself, and you don't know how you operate, and you don't know how you make decisions, and you don't really know how you connect with the quantum realm and how you feel the field of intelligence, if you don't really know that, what the fuck are you believing in? It could be totally off base for you. Completely. And then you spend years and years and years of your life trudging mud. Just wondering why nothing is moving for you, why life feels hard, why bad things keep happening, why you don't understand why. So in 2022, I invite you to stop just believing in yourself and to start deeply studying yourself and to understand that what's happening right now collectively is a call to wake up and to realize that these large institutions do not necessarily have our best interests at heart, that they are governed by self-interest, that they are bought out by corporations and organizations that care dick about you, but a lot about money, and that unless you understand how to engage with the field, they're going to continue to sell you on shit that you don't want. So one dramatic thing they've sold you on is this cure-all, right? The jab, as I refer to it. But they've also sold you on a lot of other things before this whole thing. They've sold you on the happiness that is attached to materialism. They've sold you on that having more means you're happier. They've sold you on consuming more means happiness. They've sold you on constant engagement and social media and quick dopamine hits is what you want. They've sold you on all these things, and you didn't even realize that was happening. Did you? You were like, oh, social media, cool. Oh, those new Nikes are dope. I want them. You didn't even question. You just got sold. We all did. Myself included. Right? When you realize that, you understand the significance of reclaiming your personal sovereignty and understanding how you make decisions, and no longer allowing anything outside of you to govern your decision-making process. No dogma, no institution, nothing. Fucking zero. Zero. Okay? This is one of the most important lives I'm ever going to do in my life, and I hope that every single one of you who's watching it really listens to what I'm saying and allows it to penetrate your aura and sink into your being. Like cling, okay? You have got to understand. Here's another example of the difference between people who are tapped in unknowingly to the way that they process information from the field. We understand from quantum physics that there's this presentience that people have sometimes, where they can sense when something's coming, even though the thing is not yet on the horizon, they have a feeling. We saw that before 2020. A lot of astrologers are talking about, oh, these aspects look a little crazy. I wonder what's going to happen. I have a feeling. A lot of psychics were having feelings, and myself included. Ooh, there's a breaking point coming. There's something coming. We have a presentience about stuff, okay? And then when stuff starts to get presented, some of us just instinctively know that it's not going to be good. Some of us just know that. And some don't. Why? It's not a matter of intelligence. It's not a matter of education. It's not a matter of experience. It's not a matter of age. None of those things fucking matter. Those aren't the factors here that determine who figures out that they're being played and who doesn't. The only thing that determines that is a level of awareness with oneself, with how you sense information, how you experience information from the field. Okay? I remember in Cuba when the revolution was happening and talking to my grandmother, who's an ex-political prisoner, and talking about that time. Now she's a little bit fadey on details, but back in the day, she's real clear. She was in prison for a while. A lot of my relatives were, and just recounting the story, right? And I remember thinking to myself, why didn't you leave when all this shit went down? Like, why didn't you make an effort? Because there were people who did. There were people, when this whole thing with Castro was going on, before Castro really obtained power, when this unrest was going on, they were like, this isn't gonna go well. And they left. And then there were people in the second wave, once he came into power, that were like, yeah, this isn't going well. And they left. And then there were the people who were sold on the dream of socialism. Oh, it's gonna be great. And they stayed. And then they got boiled in a pot like the frog. Right? 60-something years later, here we are. Still living the fucking disaster that is my country, my home country. So why are there people? Nazi Germany was the same situation. If you read about the recounts of Nazi Germany, there are plenty of families that fled early because they knew. They knew something was going on. They felt it. It was an instinct to get out. Okay? Not everybody, but a lot of them. Why? Why did they know that? This should fascinate every single one of you. This should keep you up. Why is it that some people can predict things and other people cannot? And it's not because some people are born psychic and some people aren't. That's bullshit. It's simply a matter of awareness. And every single human has the same access to the same level of information, the same awareness, the same quantum field. Nobody is special here. We all have it. But we're desensitized, and we need to understand how we're desensitized, and we need to understand how we become sensitive again. Okay? We need to get that, because that's what's going to save us individually and collectively, is understanding that bit of information. Okay? So what was originally going to be a class on authorities turned into a soapbox, which is not atypical of me in general, but this is why I teach human design. If you really want to understand why human design has captured me and why it is the method by which I believe I can save the world, and that sounds so huge, but it's what I mean. It's because if I can get this information to people's hands and they can understand how they were meant to operate in this field, in this world, and how they can hold on to their sovereignty, there's no hope for any level of attempt to overthrow that. There isn't. The more people that get this, the less ability there is for people to be manipulated in mass. And for crazy shit that has happened historically in the world to happen with no one saying anything. Okay, we're living in the middle of one of those things, by the way, right now. Smack fucking in the middle of it. If you haven't noticed. So, I implore you, by any means, if human design doesn't fucking call your name, fine. Find something that does, but figure out how to hone your ability to make decisions and how to become excellent at perceiving the field of information that you are presented with, how to become more sensitive and less desensitized, how to look inward and less outward, how to pay attention to the small bits of information that often get missed, how to read between the lines, how to discern. So important, okay? And if human design is your jam, then let's talk about that. And let me help you figure that out. Okay, let me help you figure out how you were meant to thrive in this reality so you're not fucking flailing, struggling like I did for years trying to figure that out. Right? I have a course. It's upcoming. It starts the 21st. 12 weeks. Everybody that's in there is going to walk out of those 12 weeks knowing this is how I operate in the world. This is how I deliberately create. This is what I'm going to focus my energy on. This is what I'm not going to fucking focus my energy on. This is how I make decisions. This is how the universe talks to me. And this is who I am. Boom. Mystery fucking solved. Magic ensues. That's what these 12 weeks is going to be about. We only have like 5 more days to get in there. So if you've been thinking about it, if you're on the fence, you're reading my post, you're going, this sounds good, just do it. Do the thing. Right? Because if you're thinking about it over and over again, it's calling to you, it's pulling. Okay? So that's your sign. Okay? And if you know about strategy and authority, use it. Use it to see if that's the right decision for you. Okay? But more importantly than all of that, and I will include information on where you can read about all that and all the things in here, understand that you are at a pivotal moment in time to become the most self-aware version of yourself you've ever been. And if you're going to have one 2022 resolution, it has to be that. 100%. Make that the thing that you decide this year, and your entire life is going to change. Everything about your life will change. I promise. Okay? So, I hope that you found this inspiring. Share it with whoever needs to hear this. You know, if you feel like, oh my God, everybody needs to hear this message, yes, please share. Everybody does, because the tides are shifting. Thank God the tides are shifting, right? In the favor of truth, in the favor of justice. But we don't just stop here, okay? This is an individual effort. This is a person to person to person crusade, okay? So, I love you guys. Have an amazing night.